it's MK, and I'm here for another Shimmerz Paints design team layout for you guys today. And I'm also combining this with Series 13, Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. This is the sketch that I will be creating, and it was created by Ti Kaheiki. I am so sorry, you guys. We do try to help each other out by putting the enunciation in the post, but I'm still terrible with names, so I apologize, T, for that. So the inklings that I will be using is Penny for Your Thoughts, Blew My Mind, Shimmerz Rita on the Rocks, and inklings I'm Not Lyman. So I absolutely love the names of all of these, but these are some blues and greens and a little bit of brown that I will be playing with today. And for some reason, I'm being a little OCD on the placement of my palettes. From Not Just for Boys and 49 and Market, I have these wood veneer leaves, and then from 49 and Market, the chipboard little sayings and words. I also have this larger chipboard piece from 49 and Market. Those are from the Nature Study collection. I have these acetate sheets that are just these really cool jars and a little bit of butterflies, a little bit of greenery, and some mushrooms. I've got this scrap of wood grain paper that I have been wanting to use, and as soon as I saw this sketch, I knew exactly which pieces of paper I wanted to use for this sketch. It was really kind of crazy how things go like that. So I've got two photos of my husband and his side of the family sitting there watching him fish. I also have this Close to My Heart paper. It was from the National Scrapbook Day release that they did, and it was called Change of Scenery, and I want to use the burlap side, but it does have this really cool border on the other side, and it is green. It's like a green stripe, I want to say. From the Lakeside collection, I pulled out these stickers, but I think I only end up using one of the words from the stickers. I didn't use as many as I thought I was going to. My clusters ended up being a little bit on the smaller side than what I thought they were going to be. From 49 and Market, I have this beautiful, oh my gosh, I love this. This is from Nature Study, and it's called Exploration, but I love this plaid. It is just the perfect thing. And then on the other side, I have this almost painted burlap piece. And then for my background, I just have a piece of Close to My Heart French vanilla cardstock. Now, the French vanilla cardstock is not as resilient as the White Daisy cardstock. I think that they're just 1 or 2 pounds off from each other because they feel the same, they look the same other than color, but they don't take water the same. So this one is going to get a little warpy, and I do end up putting a stabilizer in the back, but I cut all that part out. You don't get to see me fuss with that, but I am pretty disappointed with how warpy the paper does get once I start with my mixed media and trying to lay all these pieces down. So I went ahead and I cut up my wood grain piece so that way I had the paneling like what is the rainbow paneling on Ti's sketch. And then I'm just going to trim my photos down so that way they don't take up a lot of space. What I love about this sketch is that she puts in 2 6x4 photos. So I actually get to see how much room I have to play with when it comes to adding mixed media to this layout. I already had in mind where I was going to put the mixed media, so it wasn't any guesswork or anything. This layout was absolutely perfect for the mixed media. I'm also going to take this burlap paper and use it for matting my photos. And then I went ahead and I used the distress side, the torn side of that paper. I went ahead and used it as my to my advantage, because over on the left side of, well, actually it's the bottom. I'm flipping her layout. I'm rotating it to the right 1 turn, which means that the stripes and the rainbow stripes or pattern will be on the left side of my layout. And so I basically took her striped paper and her polka dotted paper, and that is going to be my plaid and my torn burlap paper. And so that way it gives it a little bit more of an interest instead of just having 2 strips of paper there. I did debate on stitching my pieces down, but I wasn't really sure how that would work, especially with how warpy everything gets, but I did definitely want to do that. So I'm just marking where I have all of my elements so I know where to paint. I'm going to go ahead and soften up my paints and my inks. I've got I'm Not Lyman here on the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and just trace around my outline. I did drip a little bit, but I get my paintbrush really super wet, and then because I store my paints on their sides, I have my little container, it has little holes in it, and it stores them on their sides. Sometimes they dry on the side when I accidentally put them away when they're not fully dried out. I do try to leave them dried out, and when I assume that they are, that's when I put them away. But sometimes they look dried out, but they're not, and so they'll all kind of smush over to the over to one side. I went ahead and I added Rita on the Rocks. I love Rita on the Rocks. It's got this gorgeous, they both have gold shine to it, but Rita's gold and green combination is just so, so pretty. So I went ahead and I mixed those two, and I didn't try to mix them so much that you couldn't tell that there was 2 different greens. Definitely, but they're just so gorgeous together, you guys. Seriously, and they are 2 different greens. I'm going to go ahead and, while that is drying, work on some of the pieces that I can work on. So I'm going to put these border strips together, and then I scuffed up the edges of all of my wood grain and of my photo mats. So, and then that brown striped piece of paper, I actually forget about it. I wanted that to go behind the photos as well and add a little bit more interest, but I forget about it, and I can't make it work into the layout, so it doesn't work out. But once the green has dried, it did leave that gold left kind of like a brown feel to the color, and I absolutely love that. This one here is sorry, I had an itch. Blew My Mind, and it is just a gorgeous blue. I love it's not blue, it's like a tealy. Oh, it's just so gorgeous. And when it dries, that gold shimmer that's in it is outstanding. Like it does the grunge work for me. I just absolutely love it. And so I wanted to have a little bit of blue outline. Now I do have a strip that's going to be shown over on the far left. So I went ahead and I painted that in my Penny for Your Thoughts. And I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't stark white, because the rest of the layout is not going to be stark white. And then I realized that I scuffed up the edges of my wood grain, and I didn't want the stark white showing through my wood grain. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint all the rest of this to make sure that there is no gaps between any of my wood grain where I scuffed it up and whatnot. I wanted to make sure that it was going to be brown all the way through. Now, I don't really see any of this. I don't think it was necessary, to be honest, but I felt like if I didn't do it, that I was going to be able to see the white. So I don't know if it was going to happen or not. I'm not really sure. I am glad I painted the far right side. I just love how that looks in the end with a little bit of paint peeking behind my my paper strips. And then I do end up putting my wood grain down, and it goes crooked, so I have to redo it once I put my stripes down, but it's okay. It's not too bad. I don't know how I did that, but it could have been the scuffing being slightly off. I am glad that I did put the brown behind my photo. It looks like a hot mess without all the paper layers, but my white got covered up. And so I really, really like the fact that it got covered up. So I'm going to go ahead and put my stripe down. And this is where I realize that my wood grain is slightly off. I'm wondering if when I put my stripe down, if I got it wrong, but I measured both ends and both ends said that they were the same. So who knows? But it still works in the end. It still looks great. This is where I realized my paper is super, super warpy. I'm not sure if I like it. And then I cut out to go and fix it so I can breathe. So these are just photos of my husband and his family at June Lake. Well, we are all there, but this is his dad and his stepmom and then his grandmother. So it's just super fun. The lake is just down the hill from our cabin where we stay. And we just walk down the hill, and it's pretty fascinating. We go and we spend a couple hours down and let the boys fish and hang out. Like I said, this was Jason's crawdad spot. He refused to move though, because just down in that little tree ledge right there behind the boys was where my kids were fishing, and they were pulling out fish. So he can't tell me that he wasn't doing anything. He was just being stubborn, and he hit a crawdad spot. I'm just saying. All right, so I'm going to pull off the masking that is on the wood veneer for these leaves, but I'm not going to pull it all off. I'm going to leave the masking on that is inside the leaf part, just to give it a little bit of interest in color, and I really didn't want to pull out my color crayons, basically. So if the masking is going to help me make a two-tone leaf, then I'll leave the masking on. It's not going to hurt it, no matter what. I don't think it's going to deteriorate over time. I'm not really sure on that. But yeah, it's definitely, I'm checking to see if there was masking on the back sides. And these leaves, I did not know this until I pulled the masking off, but all the leaves are different. So one of them was MDF, which is a particle board pressed wood per se. And then the other one was a light wood. And then the other one was more of a darker wood, but it's still on the light side. So I liked the fact that I had 3 different leaves. I just didn't know that until after I had pulled the masking off. Now my leaves are probably about a year old. It's been a while since I have purchased from the Not Just for Boys Club. But yeah, I definitely like their designs and their wood pieces. So I'm glad I finally got this one on a page. I did struggle a teeny tiny little bit with the fact that all of my other elements that I chose were see-through. So I took my little jars and put them on a packaging that I had sitting on my desk. It was actually from Pretty Little Studios Sunkiss collection, and it was just a white packaging with a little bit of what looked like stamping on it, and it was perfect for the messy look of these jars, the dirty look of these jars. And so I just glued them onto the white and cut them out, and I really am happy with how they look now. I needed a jar down at the bottom. I actually didn't plan to have 3 clusters until I double-checked the sketch and realized that she had 3 clusters. And I really like the addition of having, my 3 leaves split up, and then of course 3 jars and all that good stuff. So the jars are meaningless. They don't really, have a point in this story. They're just photos. They're not fishing or anything. They're just hanging out and enjoying, well, for one, the sunshine. And the view, it is just gorgeous. You can see Nana sitting on the log there, and she's taking pictures as well. And I bet she's trying to zoom in and take pictures of the boys fishing. I think that's what she's doing. So I think one of the reasons why my husband decided that this was his fishing spot is because of the log, and he sat on the log and fished instead of stood up like the boys did. Because there wasn't any other rocks or anything else that you could sit on where the boys were standing. So I'm going to finish off the layout by sprinkling a couple chipboard hearts, a couple of the acetate, I said vellum I think earlier, but they're all acetate, some acetate butterflies, and then I had these coppery, 49 and Market calls them wishing bubbles, but I had these hanging out and they were the perfect color, so I thought that I would add them. Just to use them up and add a little bit more interest to my layout. I did splatter before I started, you know, when I did my background, I did splatter my Rita on the Rocks around my green frame that I made for my photos. But I do end up still wanting to add a little bit more splatter. So I just felt like now that I've added these coppery wishing bubbles, I needed to add a little bit more. So I'm going to take my paintbrush and wet it down quite a bit so I can get some splatters of the Penny for Your Thoughts. And I feel like this definitely helps finish off the layout because it added that brown. And now I've got almost two kinds of browns because the gold did add a little bit of brown as well. So here is my layout for today. I absolutely love how it looks. I love that shimmer and shine that is inside the green and the blues, the greens and the blue. That blue is one of my favorites. It is so pretty. So anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to check out the Shimmerz website and check out all the new colors that they come out with. They come out with new colors every month. And then they've got a paper pack now coming out as part of the color kit, which is just phenomenal. And it keeps getting better and better as the months go on. I do look forward to next year, honestly. T, thank you so much for this amazing sketch. I loved playing with it. And also too, if you're going to purchase something, don't forget to mention my name in the comments and you'll get a little free gifty from Shimmerz. And then there's 2 links down below for Christy's Beautiful Life, the 30 days of sketches for her Facebook group. All right, you guys, thank you so much, and I'll check y'all later.